Hook off to Jazz Sports. All right, guys. I was recently watching a video Paulie Malignaggi had put out on his channel, just discussing his version of the pound for pound list. And what really caught my attention was when he got to Errol Spence Jr., which he put at number 6 behind Dimitri Bivol. He mentioned that Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson would not be on his list. So I'm going to go ahead and just read out to you guys real quick exactly what he said. So Paulie went on to say this: Haney and Shakur are not going to be on my pound for pound list. They haven't beaten anybody of enough size yet, of enough distinguishment yet. Shakur might have made the outer top 10 possibly, and Haney as an undisputed champion certainly deserves merit in the conversation. But they're not top 10. The top 10 is a list of accomplishments as far as opposition is concerned as well. Haney is a good fighter, but he didn't do the work to unify those titles. He beat Kambosos to unify those titles, so you have to put things in perspective. The guy that did the work to unify those titles was mainly Lomachenko. Lopez took them at the end, and since then the undisputed title has been passed on from one fighter to the next. That's a clip of what he said when he was discussing Paulie Malignaggi, when he was discussing why Haney and Shakur would not be on his pound for pound list. Now, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know. If you see things different, please let me know. But here's what I want to say. Haney did not just beat Kambosos to unify the titles. He beat Kambosos to become undisputed. He is the one and only champion in the division. And amongst all the names mentioned by Paulie, Haney is the only one to legitimately earn the title of undisputed. When they were calling everybody else undisputed, they were not undisputed. Haney held the WBC title. And to be undisputed, you have to hold all 4 of the major titles. Okay, guys? So when Paulie says, the undisputed title has been passed on from one fighter to the next. Well, no, Lomachenko did not pass on an undisputed title. He was never undisputed. The only one out of all of them that's undisputed and can claim that is Haney, who made history as being one of the few to do it in the 4-belt era. Something that I didn't even take into consideration until Haney put in that work in Australia and let it be known who he is and what he's here to do. I remember listening to other interviews and other discussions by journalists and media members when they were speaking about Tyson Fury being the lineal champion. And again, this is something, I guess for some people who are very deep into boxing. I love boxing, and my goal is to continue to learn about it every single day. This is why I ask you guys when I talk, please tell me, your opinions. Let me know what's going on. Like the video and leave comments. Engage with me. I'm only here to learn. I remember listening to media talk about Tyson Fury being the lineal champion. And every time they spoke about this, they would make it a point to say that he was the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy. Now Paulie is saying that Haney just took the belts from Kambosos. He just beat Kambosos for the belts. He didn't put in the work. But Haney beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy. So why is it not the same type of honor, the same type of respect? Why is Haney not getting that same respect as Tyson Fury? I'm not understanding what's going on. If I'm missing something, please somebody let me know. All right, guys? I just want to know. I just want to be informed. Right? In another video I watched with Paulie, a little more recent than that pound for pound, he was talking about his lightweight ranking and discussing his top, on that division with Haney, Lomachenko, Kambosos. He was discussing that division and how he ranked them. It's not the same as pound for pound, but again, he was ranking that division, and so it's relevant because in the pound for pound, he made it a point to point out why Haney, who is in this division, in that division with those guys, is not going to be in his pound for pound list. I At one point, he says that he had Kambosos at the top because he had all the titles. Again, he never had all the titles, but let's say that Kambosos did have all the titles. You had him at the top. You had him at the top of that division. Haney has all the titles. Something that Lomachenko never did, something that Kambosos never did, something that Lopez never did. All roads lead to Haney. If you want to be the champion, you gotta see Haney. Every single fighter in the division has to see Haney. If they want to call themselves the champion at this point and they want a belt, all 4 belts, or they want 1 belt, they have 2 options. They can wait to see if Haney vacates the titles and then they can all fight for it, 1 belt at a time. Or they can fight Haney and they can see if they can get a fight with Haney and claim all 4 belts at once. With that said, if Kambosos could be at the top of your list and you only had 3 of the 4 belts, I feel like that's an argument to say that Haney should be on everybody's pound for pound list because he has all 4 belts. He has all 4 belts. So if a fighter with only 3 could be at the top of the list in his division without fighting the other champion, because if he has 3 belts, Kambosos has 3, Devin Haney has 1, there could only be one champion or 1 undisputed champion in any division. There can be 4 individual champions, but there can only be 1 undisputed. And if there's another title out there that a fighter doesn't have, if he has all 3 and there's a title out there that he doesn't have, that means that there's a fighter out there that's potentially as good or better than he is. So he could have never been better than Haney. He had to fight to see if he was better than Haney. And when he did that, it was proven that he was not better than Haney. Haney was the true champion. Haney was the true champion. And to say that Haney didn't put in work. The man went to Australia when he was met with people calling him all kind of boy and a rat and all that kind of disrespectful stuff. They tried to keep his dad from getting into Australia. And he still went and said, I'm a man. I can do it with my dad here, without my dad. He put in that work. He took the fight in Australia, all fans against him. That's putting in work. If I'm not mistaken, he took a pay cut. He agreed to everything that all the terms and conditions that Kambosos wanted. Haney agreed. Just give me the fight. I'm the champion. I'm the true champion. Give me the fight. That's putting in work. Staying calm, cool, and collected. Staying prepared, being ready, staying focused. That's called putting in work. Remember when ESPN was calling Lomachenko undefeated and he had lost? He had a loss on his record and they were saying that he was undefeated. How can you say Lomachenko put in work and he has people lying for him? And I like Lomachenko, but in the previous video, I'm not saying he's the worst fighter. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be treated and be respected as a champion. But in a previous video that I put out between when he was fighting Teofimo Lopez, before the fight, I said that Teofimo Lopez was too much, too explosive, and Lomachenko would lose. And so it happened. And if you don't believe me, check it out. I'm gonna Lomachenko versus Lopez. I'm gonna post the video. I'm gonna post the link here so you guys can click that and see exactly what I said. And again, this is boxing. That fight could have went any way, but guys, Lomachenko clearly lost that fight against Lopez. And Lopez lost that fight against Kambosos. And Kambosos got dominated by Haney. Haney should be on everybody's pound for pound list. Period. I will say this. I will say though that Paulie did put Jermell Charlo on his pound for pound list and recognized Jermell as an undisputed champion, which I could give him some credit for that. Because if you had left him out too, then oh my goodness, I don't know. But again, everybody has a right to their opinion. I'm not knocking Paulie for having his opinion at all. Paulie is a champion in his own right, with great experience in the sport as a commentator and just as a figure, you know, on the internet. I am not saying that he's not allowed to his opinion and to put his perspective out there. I'm just saying that if Haney beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy, he should be given the same respect as Tyson Fury when they were calling him lineal champion because he beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy. Don't pick and choose when these things are important when they're not important. And this is one of the issues with boxing. Because it's like anybody can just decide who's the best, and if you're not wise to what's going on, you would actually believe it. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, you'll believe it. They'll hype up somebody. Like they almost got me with Chocolatito. I remember, you know, because I was watching boxing, learning boxing. I thought Chocolatito was really gonna be the greatest of all time. Like they almost got me. Then I realized, no. And it's not that he's not a good fighter. It's not that he's not an exciting fighter. But being an exciting fighter doesn't make you a great fighter. It doesn't make you an all-time fighter. Being a smart fighter, a fighter that's able to adapt, like Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather, that's what makes you a great. Being crafty like Bernard Hopkins, that's what makes you a great. Taking on all comers like Roy Jones Jr., that's what makes you a great. You know, guys? So, yeah, you know, I think that's a big issue in boxing. And like, if you look at like the NBA or the MLB, the teams got to play each other, and whoever wins, that's who's the best. You know, in boxing, a guy could not even have a title and you're claiming that he's the greatest of all time. You know, a guy can have a loss on his record and then they start acting like he doesn't have a loss on his record and they're saying he's the greatest of all time. Like, cut that out, man. And fighters that accept that, it's gonna be tough, because it's like you're letting media members lie to you as a fighter. You know? And I just don't see how that's gonna benefit any fighter. I remember Gervonta Davis was in the corner again. I think I mentioned this in another video, and Floyd was telling him, you're down on the unofficial scorecards. And Gervonta Davis he looked like he was a little like, yo, Floyd, like, why are you telling me that you don't believe in me type of thing? But again, Floyd was like, you want me to tell you the truth. And what Gervonta Davis come out and do? He dropped Mario Barrios, body shot. Beautiful body shot, wham, to the gut. Curled him up, man. Telling people the truth. When you're telling the truth, you can never lose. Sometimes it's painful to say it or to hear it. But you can't lose telling the truth. You always move forward telling the truth. Always. And you always move forward hearing the truth and being willing to hear the truth. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Haney deserves the respect for being the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy and becoming undisputed and making history as one of the few to ever do it in the 4-belt era? Do you guys think that Haney should be on everyone's pound for pound list? Let me know what you guys think. If you get a chance, also go check out Paulie's video. You know, again, don't take my word for it. Go check out his video. Listen for yourself. Leave, you know what I mean, guys, and get back to me. Comment under this video that I'm putting out right now. I'm gonna put this out. Leave a comment, guys. Like the video. Even if you don't like it, you can hit the dislike button. Leave a comment. Let me know why you don't like it. Let me know why you like it. Let me know what your pound for pound list is. Just drop your top 10 in the comments. That's all you gotta do. Less is more. Just drop that and we get it. Alright guys, thank you guys for listening. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, hook off the jab.